Chapter 1 Lord's Mark, Awakening Successful. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Classmates, 3 years of high school are coming to an end. Next, you will undergo the most important awakening ceremony. If there is a lucky person who successfully awakens the Lord's Mark, he or she will be exempted from the college entrance examination and will be admitted to the top Academy of Sciences in our country. When the time comes, you can go to the land of redemption, become one of the lords, and win glory for the country. Now, each class should line up and enter the awakening hall in an orderly manner. On the high platform, the principal's speech was particularly passionate. The students, who were in their prime years, all looked flushed and wanted to rush into the hall immediately and start the awakening ceremony. Subai, who was standing at the back of the team, raised his head and looked at the majestic awakening hall in front of him, a trace of expectation quietly rising from the corner of his eyes. 50 years ago, a continent called the Land of Redemption suddenly came into contact with the Earth. Since then, the world has changed. Everyone over the age of 18 can trigger the awakening of the Lord's Mark through the energy of the awakening stone. Of course, the lucky ones are in the minority. Not everyone can successfully awaken. According to statistics from the National Statistics Bureau, only one person in 100,000 people has the Lord's Mark. In other words, out of the 1.4 billion people in the Dragon Kingdom, only about 14,000 have successfully awakened. Of course, people of different age groups have different probabilities of awakening the Lord's Mark. According to statistics, people between the ages of 18 and 28 have about a 1% chance of becoming a lord. People over 50 years old have only a 1 in 10 million chance of awakening the Lord's Mark. It's difficult to become a lord. Subai followed the team and sighed slightly while marching towards the awakening hall. The head teacher, Zhang Tao, strode back and forth to inspect the status of the students. Students, it's our class's turn soon. Don't be nervous, everyone, calm down and treat it as an ordinary test. Success is good, but even if awakening fails, we can still contribute to our motherland in all fields of society. After saying this, the students' nervousness calmed down a little. However, Subai rolled his eyes and couldn't help but secretly vomit. For a poor student like him, if he fails to awaken the Lord's Mark, the only way out in the future is to move bricks at a construction site. As for building the motherland, sorry, there are countless outstanding talents in the Dragon Kingdom. How can I get Subai? On this point, he is still somewhat self-aware. For ordinary people, from ordinary families, if they want to get ahead, there is only one way, that is to successfully awaken and become a lord. In this way, the country will invest a lot of resources in various aspects of cultivation. Of course, the country's huge expenditure does not mean that there is too much money to spend. When the Lord comes to the Land of Redemption, he will receive a territory stone. After unfolding, a territory will automatically be formed. In the territory, you can build buildings and recruit soldiers, and then you can go out to fight, expand the territory, and even dominate one area. The Land of Redemption is filled with all kinds of crises, but there are also endless opportunities. It is also very possible to become a god or a saint. The achievements and goals achieved by the Lord in the Land of Redemption can provide varying degrees of rewards to the country where the Lord is located. For example, improving the national destiny, increasing the lifespan of all people, unlocking high-end technology, etc. 10 years ago, a lord with great luck appeared in the United States. He fell into an abyss. Not only did he not die, but he also obtained an artifact. Therefore, the national destiny of the United States has directly accelerated by 20%. This made the senior officials of Longwa a little anxious. However, luck is such an elusive thing. Fortunately, the Dragon Kingdom has a large population base and the number of awakened lords is also larger. In general, although the overall strength is not as good as that of the United States, it can still reach 60% of its combat power. This is why the country will provide special training and comprehensive support and help to those who awaken the Lord's Mark. After all, lords and countries complement and influence each other. Just when Subai was uneasy and thinking wildly, the voice of head teacher Zhang Tao rang in his ears. Students, it's our class's turn. Follow the teacher and enter the awakening hall in an orderly manner. As soon as these words came out, people immediately became excited. Everyone is gearing up and confident, and they are bound to awaken the Lord's Mark. Subai followed the team and strode into the awakening hall. In the center, a colorful jade stone with a diameter of 5 meters is suspended in midair. Students, listen to me read your names, go up one by one, walk up the stairs on the right to the platform, press the awakening stone with your hands, hold it for 3 seconds, and then release it. Zhang Tao, the head teacher, was very meticulous and said it 3 times until it reached the ears of all students. Then, he walked onto the platform, holding the roster in his hand, and shouted, "Wang Huai." 2. Wang Huai responded and trotted to the platform. While he stretched out his hand to press the energy stone, a burst of intense anticipation burst out in his eyes. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, there is no change in the energy stone. Wang Huai refused to give up and kept pressing on with his hands. 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, there is still no change in the power stone. Okay, come down, Wang Huai, the awakening failed. Zhang Tao, the head teacher, shook his head, picked up the roster, and put a cross behind Wang Huai's name. Wang Huai was devastated, his eyes were dull, and his face was full of despair. Then, Zhang Tao continued to call names. The students came up one after another, but there was probably no reaction at all when measuring the stone. Zhao Meifang, awakening failed. Zhang Jiasheng, awakening failed. Li Ku, the awakening failed. Half of the students in succession ended in failure. This made Su Bai's heart suddenly rise to his throat. Next second, the head teacher Zhang Tao's voice sounded. Su Bai. Hearing his name, Su Bai took a deep breath, then walked forward and quickly came to the platform. Stretch out your hand and press the energy stone. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, why is there no response? Could it be that the awakening failed? Su Bai became frustrated instantly. However, in the next moment, a sudden change occurred. The awakening stone trembled violently. Immediately afterwards, a strong colorful light burst out from it. The entire awakening hall was shrouded in this light. The students on the field were stunned and speechless. Without exception, everyone's eyes were filled with strong envy. Zhang Tao, the head teacher, rubbed his eyes and felt that the blood in his body froze in an instant, making him unable to move. Only those who have awakened the mark of a high-level lord can manifest such a vision. Su Bai, this kid, is so lucky. The Lord's mark is divided into 7 levels: ordinary, excellent, refined, epic, legend, myth, and ultimate myth. The higher you go, the greater the potential and the stronger the development potential. Naturally, the strength will be stronger. Oh my God, such a brilliant awakening vision must be a high-quality Lord's mark. Our class is so promising, we can actually have such a powerful person. Su Bai's luck is so good. Yuawawa, why doesn't Lady Luck patronize me? That the students were whispering to each other, talking a lot, and looking extremely excited. Finally, the light dissipated. Above the awakening stone, 3 lines of golden characters appeared out of thin air. Su Bai, Lord's mark, awakening successful. Quality, epic level. Race, Zerg. Chapter 2 Super Quality, Ultimate Myth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the same time, a faint diamond-shaped mark flashed on Su Bai's forehead. This is a sign of successful awakening of the Lord's mark. The head teacher Zhang Tao's eyes widened and his mouth opened into a big circle. The last time the entire school awakened to an epic-level Lord mark was 3 years ago. It's really not easy, not easy. However, when he saw the last line of words, Zhang Tao's expression suddenly became a little strange. Why is it Zerg? This. The principal hurriedly walked from the podium to Zhang Tao's side. His expression was sometimes excited, sometimes depressed, and his whole state seemed very tangled. How come the epic Lord's mark is paired with the Zerg? Well, I can't count on the gods, elves, and undead. Even humans, fishmen, and kobolds will do. This is really a trick of fate. Seeing this, Zhang Tao could only console him. In any case, it is finally an epic-level Lord's mark. It should be no problem to survive the novice stage. The reason why the two of them reacted like this is because there are hundreds of races in the land of redemption. When the Lord's mark is successfully awakened, the only native race will also be awakened. In the territory, the Lord can recruit troops of his own race and take them to develop the territory and fight everywhere. There are 7 levels of Lord's mark. with huge differences in strength and weakness, naturally. There are also huge gaps between different races, for example, dragons. Undead, gods, demons, etc. are relatively powerful races, the humans, beasts, and dwarves are relatively average. There are also some races that are born with certain special abilities, for example, the fishmen can survive on the seabed, and even the Lord himself has the ability to breathe under the sea. The elves, the darlings of the night, can see everything in the darkness. The undead are immune to ordinary physical attacks and must use special weapons, or attacks such as magic and energy to cause damage to them. Among all kinds of races, there is only one that is recognized globally as a weakling, that is, the Zerg. There are many reasons. First, the Zerg troops are all enlarged versions of some bugs on the Earth, and their combat power is weak. Second, the attack methods are single, all physical attacks, which are defeated by certain races. Third, there are no advanced abilities and no high-level arms. After the novice stage, you will often be unable to match some powerful monsters. In short, any lord who has awakened the Zerg tribe and can survive the novice stage is already considered an extremely powerful being. Of course, the country also has corresponding countermeasures against the Zerg, that is, after leaving the novice stage, become a vassal of a powerful race and provide them with logistical support capabilities. For example, small ants can be used to loosen soil. Small caterpillars can be used as food for some animals. Small cockroaches can be used to disgust enemies. Other than that, it has no other effect. Of course, it is very likely that the lords who awaken the Zerg will not survive the novice stage. After all, how can an enlarged version of bugs defeat those ferocious beasts and monsters? On the platform, the conversation between the principal and his class teacher naturally reached the ears of many students on the field. Among them, some people feel sorry, some people gloat over misfortune, some were even ecstatic. After all, the mentality of most people is that they are worried about their brothers doing poorly, but they are even more afraid of their brothers becoming successful. Originally, Su Bai had awakened the epic level Lord Mark, and many people were hating and jealous. Well, now, the awakened native race is a useless Zerg race. At this time, it is still unknown whether he can come back alive. Student Su Bai, no matter what, congratulations on successfully awakening the Lord's Mark, and it is still a very rare epic level. Zhang Tao, the head teacher, walked a few steps and came to Su Bai, forcing a smile. After all, these are students in their own class. If he died in the place of redemption, it would be a bit sad to be a teacher. How could it be Zerg? Su Bai's face was pale, as if someone had poured cold water on him from head to toe, and his whole body was numb. At first, he was so happy that he almost jumped up when he saw that what was awakened was the epic level Lord Mark. However, after seeing the Zerg in the last row, suddenly, he wilted. The mortality rate of the Zerg lords is quite high. In an instant, a trace of fear could not be contained and surged into my heart. Su Bai felt dizzy and almost unsteady on his feet. The principal stepped forward quickly, gave him a hand, and said comfortingly, "Although you are a Zerg, don't worry. Our country has a very complete response mechanism that can help you get through the novice stage." "Thank you, principal." Su Bai endured the dizziness, ran off the platform like flying, returned to the back of the team, and sat down. At this moment, he had mixed feelings in his heart. Successfully awakened the Lord Mark that countless people dreamed of, but the race it adapted to was indeed the Zerg race. When he thought of the possibility of dying in the place of redemption, Su Bai couldn't help but close his eyes. However, after closing his eyes, he saw a huge insect shadow flash past. The next second a cold, mechanical synthesized sound sounded in his mind. Ding! The interstellar Zerg are bound. Lord's Mark, fully upgraded. Su Bai opened his eyes and his heartbeat began to accelerate. Interstellar Zerg. It sounds very noble. He couldn't wait and quickly checked his lord's information. Lord, Su Bai, level, ultimate myth. Race, interstellar Zerg. Characteristic 1, the interstellar Zerg originating from the depths of the universe has unparalleled powerful troops. Characteristic 2, the interstellar Zerg continuously absorbs cosmic energy. Under certain conditions, it can complete the reorganization and strengthening of the genetic sequence, and then evolve into more advanced individuals. Feature 3, the Lord can control the insect swarm through sensory transmission. Therefore, The loyalty of the insect swarm is at full value and will never betray. Feature 4, every month, the Lord can pray to the creator of the Zerg and receive different rewards. I rely on. After reading this large piece of information, Subai was dumbfounded. The quality of the Lord's Mark actually jumped 3 levels from the epic level to the ultimate myth. You know, even at the myth level, there are only a handful of existences in the world. There is currently no record at all of the top mythology in various countries. In other words, Subai's Lord Mark is the most powerful existence in the world. Moreover, this interstellar Zerg seems to be very awesome. Each of those 4 characteristics is extremely powerful. Subai swept away the previous gloom and showed strong excitement on his face. The Zerg race originating from the depths of the universe will definitely bring different excitement. Now, finally, there is no need to panic. Chapter 3, Farewell to Campus and Run to the Distance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In just a few minutes, Subai's heart felt like he was on a roller coaster. I have experienced moments of glory and also experienced fear. At this moment, it was finally stable. He began to look forward to what kind of troops this unique interstellar Zerg could recruit. Subai was filled with joy and began to look forward to the future Zerg army. On the platform, Zhang Tao, the head teacher, saw Subai grinning and smiling into the air. I couldn't help but sigh in my heart. This child may have been frightened, so he behaved so strangely. After all, after awakening the Zerg, the probability of death is very high. It would be better not to have a successful awakening and to live out the rest of my life in safety. Go ahead and awaken. The principal took a deep look at Subai, and then said to Zhang Tao. Ah. Zhang Tao nodded, picked up the roster, and continued to call the names. 10 minutes passed. No one can successfully awaken the Lord's Mark. Now, only the last person remains untested, that is squad leader Zhao Xiangtian. Squad leader, it's your turn. Hearing the sound, Zhao Xiangtian strode forward, quickly walked onto the platform, and pressed his hand on the awakening stone. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, the awakening stone trembled violently. Colorful light bursts out from it, lighting up the entire hall. Oh my God, it's another high-level Lord's Mark. The head teacher Zhang Tao's eyes widened with shock. Next moment, above the awakening stone, 3 lines of golden characters appeared out of thin air. Zhao Xiangtian, Lord's Mark, awakening successful. Quality, epic level. Race, orc. Epic level, orcs. Zhang Tao's pupils shrank sharply, and he was extremely shocked. What kind of day is it today? 2 epic level lords appeared among the students in the class one after another. Moreover, the natal race that the monitor awakened from is the beast race, which is famous for its combat prowess. All the students present, including the principal, had shock written all over their faces. Damn it, it's an epic level again. This is too strong. Oh my God, the monitor is awesome. The orcs are famous for their strength. There will definitely be no problem in getting through the novice stage. From now on, the squad leader will be my idol, and no one is allowed to steal it from me. I have to say that in comparison, Subai is really miserable. The one who awakened was the Zerg. Yeah, the Zerg race is such a waste. There's no way they can compare with the squad leader's beast race. That's not the case. Listen to the teachers. If the Lord of the Zerg has awakened, it is better to fail to awaken. Why? According to official statistics, 90% of the Zerg lords will not survive the novice stage. I'm afraid Subai's end will be miserable. As he said that, everyone couldn't help but turn their attention to Subai. People discovered that this guy had no fear at all, not even the slightest bit of sadness. Not only that, he was also smiling, as if he was the one who awakened the Beast clan. Seeing this, everyone began to whisper and discuss. Look, Subai can still laugh. He's so heartbroken. According to me, this kid must have been frightened out of his wits. Well, speaking of it, Subai is also a pitiful person. He finally succeeded in awakening, but he is still a useless race. During this period, classmates, please take good care of Subai, otherwise, you may never see him again in the future. Subai didn't hear the comments from his classmates at all. At this moment, he was intently studying the racial characteristics of the interstellar Zerg. On the platform, the head teacher Zhang Tao was very excited, and the principal was even more ecstatic. This class of students is truly a hidden dragon and a crouching tiger, with two epic-level lords appearing one after another. It is reasonable for the principal to be so happy. You know, if the students in the school can successfully awaken, they will make great achievements in the future. Then, the government will issue corresponding rewards to the school where the student is located. The rest of you, go back to the classroom first. Monitor, Su Bai, you two follow me. Zhang Tao waved his hand and said loudly. Zhao Xiangtian was on the platform, taking 3 steps and 2 steps at a time, walking towards Zhang Tao. However, Su Bai remained motionless. At this moment, he was immersed in his own world and did not hear any sounds from the outside world. He didn't react until his classmate pushed him. He trotted quickly and came to the platform. Follow me. With that said, Zhang Tao turned around and walked towards a room in the back. The principal stayed in place and continued to preside over the awakening work in other classes. Su Bai and Zhao Xiangtian followed closely behind. After coming in, look around. The room is filled with bookshelves, which are densely packed with all kinds of books, materials, and albums. There is also a huge LCD screen hanging on one wall. Next, I will conduct a half-day assault training for you to supplement your knowledge about the land of redemption. While Zhang Tao was talking, he turned on his computer and connected it to the projector. Teacher, do you want to start now? Zhao Xiangtian asked aloud. That's right. Zhang Tao nodded and said, time is pressing. Early tomorrow morning, a special military plane will come over to take those who have successfully awakened from school this year to the Academy of Sciences in the capital. I see. Zhao Xiangtian suddenly realized. Teacher, please start. Su Bai found a seat and sat down, then found a pen and a pile of white paper. Even with the blessing of the interstellar Zerg and the supreme myth, we still cannot take it lightly. The mysterious and unpredictable place of salvation is full of crises and extremely dangerous. Therefore, it must be excellent to have more relevant knowledge. In the following time, Zhang Tao talked non-stop. Su Bai and Zhao Xiangtian listened very carefully. Half a day flies by. After the lecture, Su Bai looked at the dense notes in his hand and suddenly felt very fulfilled. I also became more confident about going to the place of salvation in the future. The next day, early morning, facing the rising sun, a large silver jet fighter flew from the clouds. Slow down and lower the landing gear. The fighter plane landed straight on the school playground. The back cabin opened, and a middle-aged man in military uniform walked out slowly. He looked around and nodded with satisfaction. More than 20 classmates who have awakened the Lord's mark are not bad. The principal stepped forward to greet them, with a hint of relief on his face. I will leave these children to you. Don't worry, I will take good care of them. The middle-aged man nodded, then waved his hand. Students, follow me. With excitement on their faces, everyone lined up in a long line and boarded the fighter plane from the rear cabin one by one. Before leaving, Su Bai looked back at the campus and the head teacher, with mixed feelings in his heart. 5 minutes later, the fighter plane took off vertically. Zhang Tao stood there, with tears flashing in his eyes. Classmates, you all must come back safely. Next moment, the fighter plane accelerated suddenly, turned into a stream of light, and disappeared into the boundless clouds. Chapter 4:1 Treat everyone equally and never give up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Half an hour later, north, in a huge military zone 10 kilometers away from the imperial capital, the fighter plane landed with a crash. Here, the Dragon Kingdom's most elite marine regiment is stationed. At the same time, the headquarters of the Dragon Kingdom's top Academy of Sciences is also established here. Su Bai and a group of classmates were taken to a wide hall. The middle-aged officer cleared his throat and shouted loudly, Dear new lords, my name is Wang Jinghua, with the rank of Colonel, and I am directly in charge of you. In the next week, you will undergo relevant physical and knowledge training in the military area. The people responsible for training you, in addition to me, will also include the best experts from the Academy of Sciences. In addition, before you enter the land of redemption, you will receive corresponding help from the country, such as some resources, weapons, etc. Finally, I wish you all can carve out a future in the land of redemption and win glory for yourself and the country. After the speech, all the new lords present looked excited and geared up, eager to rush into the land of redemption and kill everyone. Which classmate is Zhao Xiangtian? Wang Jinghua asked in a loud voice while flipping through the files in his hands. Zhao Xiangtian raised his hand. What you have awakened is the epic-level Lord's Mark. Coupled with the orcs, who are famous for their strength, you will definitely be able to carve out a world in the land of redemption. Wang Jinghua stepped forward with unstinting admiration in his eyes. Thank you. I will try my best. Zhao Xiangtian grinned, almost bursting into laughter. It is undoubtedly a great honor to receive such praise when you first come here. Everyone in the hall turned their eyes to Zhao Xiangtian, with envy on their faces. Wang Jinghua continued to browse the files, and suddenly, his brows furrowed deeply. Which classmate is Su Bai? Hearing his name, Su Bai quickly raised his hand to signal. Come here with me. Wang Jinghua waved and then walked towards an office at the back. Su Bai stood up and followed closely. A few moments, inside the office. Report to the chief, a special situation has occurred. Wang Jinghua looked at the old man sitting on the chair and saluted a military salute with a heavy voice. What special situation? The old man raised his head, his hair was gray, and he was not angry and proud. This classmate has awakened an epic-level Lord's Mark, but his native race is the Zerg. Wang Jinghua's voice was low and his brows were twisted into the character Chuan. The Zerg race is indeed a bit tricky. The old man narrowed his eyes slightly, then looked at Su Bai, and said in a gentle voice, Classmate, you go down and rest first. Your situation will be treated carefully by the superiors. Su Bai looked up and saw to his surprise that there were golden branches and leaves and 2 gold stars hanging on the old man's epaulette, lieutenant general rank. What a great official. Seeing Su Bai frozen on the spot, the old man stood up, walked forward slowly, and patted his shoulder. Classmate, don't worry, no matter what race you are, the country will treat you equally and will never give up on any of your colleagues. The old man's voice was full of power. After listening to it, Su Bai suddenly felt an inexplicable sense of security in his heart. Thank you. Su Bai bowed, turned and left. That night, the main leaders of the military region and the Academy of Sciences gathered together and held a confidential meeting. All the awakened lords across the country have been taken over. Among them, there are 2 at the legendary level, 67 at the epic level. Although the overall quality is not as good as last year, the advantage is that there are more people awakening, so overall it's pretty good. Wang Jinghua pointed at the flashing pie chart on the LCD screen with a laser pointer and explained to everyone. An expert representative from the Academy of Sciences stood up and spoke. Those 2 at the legendary level must be given special care and have unlimited resources, while at the epic level, priority will be given to them and resources will be provided as much as possible. Understood. Wang Jinghua nodded. Then, the conversation changed. It's just that there is a special situation. A lord named Su Bai, although he is at the epic level, can awaken the Zerg. As soon as he finished speaking, the whole place was in an uproar. The military people didn't say a word, they just felt sorry. Experts from the Academy of Sciences began to whisper among themselves, and there was a lot of discussion. Epic level, how come it's the Zerg that awakens? Oh, what a bad luck. I missed the epic level in vain. Resources cannot be wasted. Only basic supplies will be distributed and the Zerg Lord will be allowed to fend for himself. Hearing this, Wang Jinghua's expression changed and he felt a little embarrassed. Isn't this a little bad? The weakness of the Zerg race is known to all countries in the world. This kind of bugs are only suitable as supplies for high-level races. Even if a lot of resources are invested, they will be of no use. The expert representative had an expressionless face and refuted it mercilessly. But, he is an epic Zerg. Wang Jinghua emphasized. The epic level Lord's Mark will give the troops relatively powerful attributes and combat power. However, the Zerg are too weak. Even if they are strengthened at the epic level, it will still be of no avail. They can only kill ants, cockroaches, and flying insects that are magnified 10 times. The enemy is not realistic. Su Bai is only 18 years old. If he is ignored, he will die in his novice stage. The country does not do charity. In times of crisis, it cannot take care of much. There was no emotion on the face of the expert representative, as if the life and death of others had nothing to do with him. Wang Jingwa couldn't bear it. Su Bai, he is only 18 years old. It's such a shame to die like that. He quickly turned his head and looked at the old lieutenant general sitting in the first row for help. This person was the old man who had contact with Su Bai during the day. His name is Guo Jing, and he is the top leader of the military region. At the same time, he is also a powerful lord, and the race he awakened is a very powerful dragon race. Let me ask you, is the blood flowing on Su Bai's body the same as yours, the blood of descendants of Yan and Huang? Guo Jing raised his eyes slightly, exuding a powerful majesty. The expert representative's face turned red and he lowered his head, not daring to look at him. Never give up, unite as one, and unite as one. This is the basis for the Chinese nation to stand on top of the world. With that said, Guo Jing slammed the table. I have made up my mind to apply for special relief to help Su Bai. At least, let him survive the novice stage. As soon as he finished speaking, all the soldiers in the audience applauded, and the sound was like thunder. Time is like an arrow, the sun and the moon are like a shuttle. 7 days passed in a blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye, the day to enter the land of redemption has arrived. Some people are nervous, some are apprehensive, but most of them are yearning for it. After all, they are all young and energetic people. Who doesn't look forward to conquering all directions, making achievements, and winning glory for yourself and the country? Tell me, are you afraid? Wang Jingwa held a loudspeaker and his voice was passionate and powerful. The neatly arranged new lords looked excited, with a hint of fanaticism in their eyes. Unite together and win glory for the country. Descendants of Yan and Huang will be invincible. Okay. What I want is your spirit. Wang Jingwa praised without hesitation. He waved his hand and shouted, line up, come forward in an orderly manner, and receive your respective resources. Chapter 5 The Land of Redemption, the Wilderness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Inside the Lord's Mark, there is a storage space. Various items can be stored, such as resources, blueprints, weapons, consumables, scrolls, etc. Of course, some high-level items, such as blueprints, etc., ordinary people have no chance to obtain. Only countries, chaebol, large groups and families have strong foundations and reserves of these things. New lords of the Dragon Kingdom will generally receive some initial resources, weapons and other basic materials. Of course, it is different for the 2 legendary lords. They will receive extra sufficient resources and grow quickly. It is certainly worthwhile for the country to do this. Legendary lords, after establishing a foothold in the land of redemption, will soon be able to bring huge rewards to the country. Therefore, the country's full investment is worthwhile. The Lord's Mark is at the ordinary and excellent levels, so the country's initial investment will naturally be less. As for a race like the Zerg, which is almost certain to die, except for the Dragon Kingdom, other countries generally choose to give up directly in order to save resources. After waiting for 5 minutes, Su Bai came to the front of the team. Stretch out your right hand and place it on the golden sensor. Next second, there are 3 more items in the storage space, a resource pack, a defense-building blueprint, and a semi-automatic pistol. Thank you. Su Bai thanked him and strode back. After walking a few steps, I heard a commotion. Look, it's this girl who has awakened the legendary quality Lord's Mark. Holy crap. Legendary quality, one of a kind. There are only 2 of them this year. Real name Envy. Why are people so lucky? I heard that her race is Blood Elf, very powerful. Goddess. Boss. I want to hold your thigh tight. Another legendary lord, who knows where he is? It is said that it is at the base of the southern magic city. The appearance of the legendary lord was like a stone striking thousands of waves, causing huge repercussions on the field. People came forward one after another, with smiles on their faces, trying to curry favor with the boss. Of course, there are also many people who take the initiative to establish relationships with epic-level lords. As for Su Bai, everyone stayed far away. There is no other reason. The Zerg are so rubbish that even surviving the novice stage is difficult. There is certainly no point in associating with such a person. Su Bai was quite happy about this. On weekdays, he likes to be alone and becomes the focus of the crowd, which makes him uncomfortable. At this time, the legendary lord suddenly walked towards Su-bai's direction. Before anyone arrived, the voice came over first. Su-bai, do you still remember me? Hearing this, Su-bai was slightly startled. Take a closer look, the visitor has a fair complexion and a tall figure. It was Fa Xiao, Bai Mengyu, whom I had not seen since we were separated 3 years ago. It's you. Su-bai's face was startled, with a hint of shock in his eyes. You have actually awakened the legendary lord's mark. Just luck. Bai Mengyu smiled sweetly. 3 years ago, you and I entered different high schools and never met each other again. I never imagined that we would meet again here. Yes, life is always full of coincidences, and there are always great people around. There was a hint of emotion in Su-bai's voice. By the way, what level and race did you awaken to? Bai Mengyu asked. Epic level. Su-bai paused for a moment and continued, Zerg. What? Bai Mengyu's expression changed, and there was a trace of panic in his eyes. How could it be the Zerg? That's good for the Zerg. I have my back to the country and just lie down. Su-bai's eye smiled and spoke with an indifferent attitude. When these words reached Bai Mengyu's ears, she thought that Su-bai had given up hope of living. A trace of unbearability flashed in her beautiful eyes. Don't give up hope at any time. Don't worry, I will do my best to help you when you enter the place of salvation. After an hour, all the new lords are ready to enter the land of redemption. On the high platform, Lieutenant General Guojing, the top leader of the military region, stared at the young faces next to him, his eyes full of regret. You are the hope of the country and the future of the nation. After entering the place of salvation, you must be careful and protect yourself first. 7 days later, the novice period ends. I will stand here, waiting for you to come back. I won't say any more unnecessary words. You must all work hard to survive. Su-bai stood behind the team, looking at Guojing's face on the high platform, with a trace of gratitude in his eyes. Just now, Wang Xinghua told him that the blueprints for defensive buildings and semi-automatic pistols were obtained only after Guojing angrily criticized the experts from the Academy of Sciences and overpowered the entire audience. Otherwise, the resources that can be received are only one resource package, although now, Su-bai has been completely transformed, with a powerful combination of the ultimate myth and the interstellar Zerg. But when he thought of Guojing refuting the whole audience and fighting for a chance to live for himself, Su-bai felt waves of warmth welling up in his heart. On the high platform, Guojing's voice sounded again. Now, prepare to enter the land of redemption. Countdown. 3, 2, 1. Almost instantly, the lord marks on the foreheads of the new lords in the audience burst into dazzling light. The light flows, one after another figures disappeared out of thin air. At the same time, the place of redemption. Su-bai opened his eyes and looked around. It is surrounded by a vast wilderness with a few old trees scattered here and there. The mountains in the distance are hazy and looming, making them look particularly mysterious. Is this the legendary place of redemption? Su-bai was not afraid at all, and there was a strong excitement in his eyes. He focused his attention on the territory stone in his hand. Territory stone. After placement, a territory of 500 square meters can be generated. Generally speaking, the territory position at the beginning is very important, but all around, as far as the eye could see, there was nothing but vast wilderness, and there were no other options. Place. Su-bai no longer hesitated. As soon as he finished speaking, the territory stone automatically hung in the air and burst into a burst of dazzling light. In an instant, the light dissipated. The land within a radius of 500 meters became solid. In the center of the territory, a dilapidated cabin appeared out of thin air. The territory stone in mid-air turned into a stream of light and merged with the cabin. At this time, the reminder of the place of salvation suddenly appeared in front of him. Initial building, under construction. Within the territory, 2 flashing rings of light appeared out of thin air. Over time, the silhouette of the building within the aperture is taking shape. 1 minute later, congratulations to Lord Su-bai, the 2 initial buildings have been successfully constructed. Barracks, level, LV1. Quality, ordinary. Function, basic recruiting building. Recruiting territory-specific troops. Tip, you can recruit for free once a day. The level of the recruited troops is the same as the level of the barracks, and the quality is also the same. Manner, level, LV1, quality, ordinary, function 1, produce, store food and drinking water, function 2, recruit farmers to carry out farming, mining and other territory construction work, tip, you can recruit for free once a day. The farmer level you recruit is the same as the manor level, and the quality is the same. Chapter 6 Architectural Sublimation, Sharp-Toothed Springtails. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Only when you have soldiers and food can you develop and grow. These two initial buildings are very important. Subai glanced around, the barracks is in the north and the manor is in the south, both have one thing in common, they are old and worn out, it is only 3 meters high and is made entirely of wooden boards, it seems that if the wind blows, it will be blown down. How can such a shabby building recruit powerful troops? Subai frowned, feeling a little uneasy. At this time, there was a ding, the system prompt sounded in my mind. The Lord's mark is detected to be the ultimate myth. The initial building is being upgraded, please wait, I lost it. It will even be upgraded automatically, in an instant. Subai's eyes showed a trace of deep expectation. After all, this is the highest quality that no lord in the world has ever seen, the ultimate myth. The two buildings, the barracks and the manor, were shrouded in two groups of white light. You can vaguely see that the outline of the building inside has become taller. 1 minute later, the light dissipated, two brand new tall buildings appeared in front of us. The new barracks is about 15 meters high, and the wooden boards are made of a combination of fine steel and marble. The manor has been expanded 3 times, and there are even 2 more basements that can be used to store supplies. This is simply a shotgun exchange for a cannon, awesome. Subai clicked his tongue in surprise and checked the detailed information of the barracks and manor again. Although the level is still level 1, the quality of the two buildings has been upgraded from ordinary to the ultimate myth. Fuck. Subai's eyes widened and he couldn't help but spit out the quintessence of Chinese culture. The grade and quality of soldiers and farmers recruited from barracks and manors are the same as those of the buildings. In other words, now we only need to recruit soldiers. As soon as it comes out, it has the ultimate mythical quality. This is amazing. Soldiers with the highest mythical quality are the most outstanding in all aspects such as combat effectiveness, fighting will, upgrade speed, physical strength, and certain hidden attributes. It can be said that if the same soldier type has the same data, then the one with the ultimate mythical quality can definitely defeat more than 5 ordinary ones. Start recruiting. Subai chose the barracks and muttered silently, seeming impatient. Next moment, the barracks glowed brightly and was covered with a transparent mask. 10 seconds later, a black, canine-like creature with sharp fangs jumped out from the barracks. It is about 2 meters long and 1 meter high. It has a pair of sickles on its back and webbed hind limbs, making it particularly strong. Springtail, level, LV1, race, interstellar Zerg, quality, the ultimate myth, weapons, claws, sharp teeth, talent 1, swiftness, expand to view talent details, talent 2, rapid reproduction, skill, none, combat power, level 3, loyalty, 100. Introduction. This small and ferocious dune runner once settled on the sand planet Gash, and was later incorporated into the insect swarm to perform guard and attack missions. It likes to use its claws and teeth as sharp as sickles to kill enemies. Tear into pieces, that I rely on. Springtails, so big, look much more ferocious than Tibetan mastiffs. As expected of the interstellar bugs, they are indeed much stronger than those bugs on Earth. Subai grinned, almost bursting into laughter. Let's not talk about anything else. In terms of level 3 combat power alone, it is already very powerful. Generally speaking, combat power is related to attributes such as level and quality. Only those races with strong individual strength, such as dragons, gods, undead, etc., are likely to have combat power that exceeds their own level just after being recruited. In most other cases, even if the level is upgraded 1 level, the combat power remains unchanged, but now a springtail with only level 1 can have level 3 combat power, which is enough to show its tyrannical strength. At this time, the system prompt sounded again. With the blessing of the ultimate myth, the number of springtails recruited this time has been increased to 10. The light flashes, 9 more springtails jumped out of the barracks, without exception. They are all of supreme mythical quality, moreover, their combat power is all level 3. Damn it! This is so awesome. Subai was stunned for a moment, and then his eyes showed ecstasy. Going from 1 to 10 brings a qualitative leap in strength. At this moment, he was extremely confident. With the support of the interstellar Zerg and the ultimate myth, there is no problem in getting through the novice stage. Looking at the 10 springtails that were bigger than Tibetan mastiffs in front of him, Subai thought, and through sensory transmission, he could control any of their actions like arms and fingers. In the eyes of Springtail, Subai seemed to be the creator of the Zerg. Kind, mysterious and full of awe. Run! Subai shouted low, testing the abilities of these springtails. Boom boom boom. The springtails' thick limbs exerted force, like a flood, speeding around the territory. They are extremely fast and can reach at least 100 km/h, while running rapidly. Its back and tail are raised high to maintain balance. They can even jump like springs, jumping several meters high. What a powerful creature! Subai looked happy and his eyes were full of excitement. He was about to lead 10 springtails to leave the territory and go out to kill monsters. At this time, the system announcement of the Land of Redemption suddenly sounded. Dear new lords, welcome to the Land of Redemption. Your goal is to survive and explore this mysterious world. Next, there will be a 7-day novice protection period. During this period, the territory remains invincible and will not be attacked by any wild beasts, monsters, natural disasters, etc. 7 days later, disaster strikes. If you fail, you will die immediately. After the disaster is over, the survivors will undergo a comprehensive evaluation, and if they are among the top 500 new lords, they will receive rewards. The higher the ranking, the more generous the reward will be. If you rank first, you will receive an additional secret prize. I wish all the new lords to carve out their own world in the Land of Redemption. This announcement didn't just appear in front of Subai's eyes, the entire Dragon Kingdom and all the new lords around the world also saw it. Suddenly, the World Channel became popular. Since it is real-time translation, it is no problem for lords from different countries to communicate with each other. Yoshi, the number 1 in this year's ranking of new lords must be us Japanese people. Our country, the United States, is the only superpower in the world. We have rounded out the top 10 in the list in advance. The United States is the greatest country. I hope this year will be the same as before. The lords of the United States can protect our great cold underworld, Kongsang Smita. Now, the most populous country in the world is our Asen Kingdom. We can dominate the world just by the number of lords. Don't be arrogant. The Bear Country and the Dragon Country have reached an all-weather strategic alliance. Which country dares to provoke them? I am Chinese, and I want to fight for the Dragon Kingdom. There must be a place for me in this year's ranking of new lords. Chapter 7 Praying for Success, Double the Critical Hit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing these chat messages, Subai felt more and more that even if he came to the Land of Redemption, the world situation would not be much different from that on Earth. The multipolar pattern of one superpower and multiple powers has not changed. Being poor cares themselves, being wealthy cares the world. What Subai has to do is to improve his strength and gain a firm foothold on the Land of Redemption. Then, you can kill everyone and give back to your beloved motherland. Let her become the only superpower in the world. The system announcement made it clear that disaster would strike in 7 days. Territory development must be accelerated with caution. In addition, after the disaster is over, the top-ranked lord will receive a mysterious reward. This is indeed very tempting, but it's always a good idea to be cautious and cautious. But now Subai has the dual blessings of the interstellar Zerg and the ultimate myth. He is confident in competing for the top spot in the rankings and is not timid at all. Just do it. Subai's eyes were filled with sparkling light. For absolute safety, before going out, he opened the storage space, took out the semi-automatic pistol inside, and put it on his waist. Wait a minute, I almost forgot, the interstellar Zerg's 4th feature, prayer, hasn't been used yet. Subai slapped his head and stopped quickly. With a thought, he opened the interstellar Zerg panel and whispered, start praying. The words trailed off, thousands of lights flash, a huge Zerg phantom flashed past, pray for success. Congratulations to Lord Subai for receiving the gift from the creator of the Zerg. The explosion rate increases by 10 times. The resources obtained are increased by 10 times. Maintenance time, 1 month. Next time to pray, 30 days later. What the hell? 10 times the explosion rate. 10 times resources. Is it so cool? Subai was immediately overjoyed and shouted in his heart, Zerg creator, I love you. The interstellar Zerg are indeed so powerful. This fourth feature, praying once a month, is simply full of surprises. Now, there are 10 times the explosion rate and 10 times the resources. During the 7 days of the novice period, you will definitely develop rapidly, and you are expected to win the first place in the new Lord rankings and get the only mysterious reward. Springtail, follow me to kill the enemy. Subai was very excited and led 10 springtails towards the wilderness outside the territory, at the same time, somewhere in the wilderness in the land of redemption. I must break into the top 100 of the new Lord rankings. Zhao Xiangtian's eyes were blazing, and his voice was full of determination. He has an epic level Lord mark, so the quality of the 2 initial buildings, the barracks and the manor, has also been upgraded from ordinary to epic level. Naturally, the troops recruited are also at the epic level, at this moment. For majestic orc warriors were standing on the ground. He was 2 meters tall, with strong muscles, wearing a simple leather armor. And holding a rusty battle axe in his hand. Orc infantry, level, LV1, race, orc, quality, epic, weapon, rusty battle axe, equipment, worn leather armor, talent, none, skill, none, combat power, level 1, loyalty, 80, introduction. The orc infantry is ferocious, brutal, and savage. They are the vanguard and backbone of the orc tribe. They are good at using battle axes to fight the enemy head-on. After the epic level reinforcement, the number of orc infantry has increased by 3, but their combat power is only level 1, which is a little weak. Zhao Xiangtian murmured to himself, looking a little disappointed. He originally thought that he would be lucky enough to recruit high-level soldiers from the orcs. Unexpectedly, what came out of the barracks was the orc infantry, the primary unit of the orcs. In fact, this situation is completely normal. Every new lord enters the land of redemption for the first time, and the level of the barracks is level 1. Even if you recruit randomly, there is a high probability that you will only get one of the primary arms of your native race. Only those lords favored by the goddess of luck can recruit high-level troops for the first time. Time is life. Orc warriors, follow me out to fight. Zhao Xiangtian was not discouraged and quickly adjusted his mood. With a high-spirited fighting spirit in his eyes, he headed straight out of the territory. God bless me, let me get a practical unit for my first recruitment. Bai Mengyu stood in a forest, looking at the military camp in front of her, with a hint of expectation in her eyes. The next moment, the light flickers, a slender female elf with pointed ears came out. She carries a short sword at her waist, holds a long bow, and wears light armor made of interlocking steel sheets. The most striking thing is that the female elf's pupils are blood-colored, looking charming and mysterious. Blood Elf Archer, level, LV1, race, Blood Elf, quality, legend, weapons, Elf Long Bow, Short Sword, equipment, Elf Light Armor, racial talent, Night Vision, expand to view talent details, talent, 100 hits with 100 shots, skill, none, combat power, level 2, loyalty, 90, introduction. The blood elves who lost their homeland became cold-blooded and ruthless. They wandered in the darkness and used longbows to launch fatal blows to the enemies. Bai Mengyu's face lit up and she seemed to be in high spirits. It should be the talent of hitting the target with one shot that allows the blood elf archers to reach level 2 in combat power. It seems like they are pretty lucky this time. As soon as he finished speaking, the system's prompt sounded suddenly, enhanced by the mythical quality level. The number of soldiers recruited this time has been increased to 6. Immediately afterwards, 5 more blood elf archers came out of the barracks. Wow, there are 6 archers with level 2 combat power. This time we are safe. Bai Mengyu smiled sweetly. with a hint of excitement in her beautiful eyes. However, the next moment, the smile on her face suddenly stopped, her eyebrows were slightly furrowed, and she was replaced by a heavy sad look. Su-bai, although you are at the epic level, you are the Zerg that has awakened. How can we face those ferocious beasts with only enlarged versions of caterpillars, ants, and cockroaches? You must persevere. When the novice period is over, I can send troops to support your territory. You must survive. We haven't seen you for 3 years. I still have a lot to say to you. After leaving the territory, Su-bai walked towards the east surrounded by 10 springtails. About 5 minutes passed, suddenly. Ouch! A sharp wolf howl sounded. There is a situation. Su-bai's expression changed, and he subconsciously held the semi-automatic pistol tightly in his hand. 5 black wild wolves appeared on the hillside ahead. The hind legs are slightly bent, and the front legs are stretched forward, assuming a downward diving posture. Steppenwolf, quality, ordinary. Level, LV1. Introduction, a hungry wolf wandering in the wilderness, good at group combat. Its teeth and claws are its most ferocious weapons. It turned out to be some of the most ordinary wolves. Su-bai breathed a long sigh of relief and relaxed immediately. A thought, command 10 springtails to run forward quickly. At the same time, 5 steppenwolves on the hillside spread their hooves and galloped down. Chapter 8 Warning Arrow Tower, Arrow of Flame. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Between the electric light and flint. Boom! Springtail collides with Steppenwolf, like a stone hitting an egg. All 5 Steppenwolves were knocked away without exception. Damn it! So strong! Su-bai was stunned for a moment, and then his eyes showed ecstasy. The mythical level Springtail is really awesome. Immediately afterwards, 10 springtails spread out and ran towards the fallen Steppenwolf with lightning speed. Stretch out your sharp teeth and bite hard. In an instant, all 5 Steppenwolves were dead. 5 balls of light the size of eggs rose from Steppenwolf's body and suspended about 1 meter above the ground. Weak beast soul. Quantity, 5. Automatic decomposition. Soul plus 5. At this time, the system sound suddenly sounded. Ding! Congratulations, Lord, with the enhanced effect of prayer, the number of souls obtained has increased by 10 times. Soul plus 50. Su-bai was immediately ecstatic, with a thick smile on his face. The buffs I get from praying are really awesome. It suddenly doubled 10 times, which was really refreshing. You must know that in the land of redemption, souls are a special resource and are quite precious. Generally speaking, it can only be obtained by killing wild monsters, ferocious beasts, etc. Now, killing 5 Steppenwolves is equivalent to killing 5. Su-bai just wanted to say 2 words, exciting. He was about to lead the springtails and continue to explore the surroundings. At this time, there was a ding. The voice of the system sounded in my mind. Lord Su-bai, your territory information has changed, please check it in time. Su-bai paused and quickly opened the territory information page. The resources column above has changed. Soul, 50. At the same time, there are several lines of information below. Territory, Su-bai. Level, LV1. Area, 500 square meters. Completeness, 100%. Territorial buildings, Level 1 barracks, Level 1 manor. Required for upgrade, 1000 wood, 500 stones, 100 souls. Wood, stone, souls, there are quite a few resources needed to upgrade the territory. Su-bai murmured to himself. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. Now there are 2 buffs, 10 times the explosion rate and 10 times the resources obtained. This means that in addition to the resources dropped by killing monsters, farmers who go to mine minerals, cut trees, etc. will definitely get 10 times more resources. Thinking of this, he couldn't wait. I plan to return to the territory immediately and recruit a farmer from the manor to try it out. You are responsible for exploring around the territory. If you encounter low-level beasts, destroy them. If you encounter a powerful monster, you can escape quickly. With a thought, Su-bai gave orders to the springtails through neural perception. Ow! The 10 springtails received the order, roared, and then ran wildly to one side. Su-bai nodded with satisfaction. After returning to the territory, select a manor to recruit. the light flows, a creature appears at the gate of the manor, its body is 80 centimeters long, and its hind limbs have membrane-like webs. Worker bee, level, LV1, dot, race, interstellar Zerg, dot, quality, the ultimate myth, dot, talent, collection, dot, equipment, worker bee pliers, dot, skills, logging LV1, mining LV1, dot, loyalty. 100, introduction. Worker bees are dedicated to their mission and can still work diligently even if they are in the center of the battlefield. The farmers of the interstellar Zerg race are quite cute. Subai couldn't help but laugh. At this time, the system prompt message suddenly appeared. With the blessing of the ultimate myth, the skills of the worker bees recruited this time have been upgraded to level 99. Then, the properties of the worker bees change. Skills, logging LV99, mining LV99. What the hell? So awesome. Subai was immediately ecstatic, and the corners of his mouth turned up with joy. The peak of these skills is level 100. Now, all of a sudden, it has reached level 99. This worker bee is a bit awesome. When you collect resources, you will definitely be vigorous. Go find wood and be safe. Subai gave the order. Soon, the worker bees left their territory and disappeared into the wilderness. Earlier, 10 springtails killed a group of steppenwolves, each with a bulging belly, and Subai, the lord, was still hungry. However, this is nothing to worry about. In addition to recruiting farmers, the manor also has another function, which is to produce and store food and drinking water. Although the current types of food are a bit monotonous, it is better to resist hunger, but since we are in a place of salvation, it is enough to fill our stomachs. Subai doesn't dare to hope for the rest for the time being. Look at the defense building blueprint given by the state. With that said, Subai opened the storage space and took the blueprint in his hand. Blueprint, alert arrow tower, dot, quality, excellent, dot, range, 100 meters, dot, introduction, an arrow tower made of a mixture of stone and iron blocks. The crossbow on the top of the tower is equipped with an automatic mechanism that automatically locks on approaching monsters. Dot, requires 1,000 stones, 1,000 iron blocks. It looks like it's not bad. As Subai spoke, he disassembled and used the last item in the storage space, the resource package. Tip, obtain 1,000 wood, 1,000 stone, and 1,000 iron. The resources provided by the state are already sufficient. After all, there are tens of thousands of new lords awakening every year. Such a huge amount requires not a small amount of resources. Build a warning tower. Subai uses the blueprint, stone 1000. Iron block, 1000. The edge of the territory glowed brightly. In just a moment, a 4-meter-high arrow tower appeared out of thin air. On the top of the arrow tower, there are 4 giant crossbows, shining with a faint cold light. With the protection of the arrow tower, the territory will be safer in the future. Subai couldn't help but let out a long sigh of relief. At this time, the system sounded again. Congratulations to Lord Subai, your building warning arrow tower has been strengthened to the mythical level. If I throw it, the arrow tower will automatically upgrade. In Subai's shocked eyes, the 4-meter-high warning arrow tower began to undergo earth-shaking changes. The first is the height, which has quadrupled to a full 4 meters high. The material also changed, as if it were made of fine steel, and the surface shone with a cold light. The most eye-catching thing is the red gem that exudes a hot atmosphere on the top of the tower. Warning arrow tower, level, LV1, dot, quality, the ultimate myth. Range, 1,000 meters, dot, enchanting, fire stone, dot, introduction, a warning tower filled with magical power, which can fire extremely hot flaming arrows at enemies, which is extremely powerful. Damn it! So strong! Subai looked ecstatic, with deep excitement on his face. The range is directly increased by 10 times, from 100 meters to 1,000 meters. Moreover, it is a shotgun exchange for a cannon, from wooden arrows to flaming arrows. The power in this is a qualitative leap. Chapter 9, Double Resources, Full Harvest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, Guojing's face could not help but appear in Subai's mind. He holds a high position with the rank of lieutenant general and is the top leader of the military region. However, he was compassionate and treated everyone equally, and would not give up even on useless races like the Zerg. Even if Subai has been reborn, he has the dual blessings of the interstellar Zerg and the ultimate myth. But he was still grateful. I am grateful to Guojing for refuting the experts from the Academy of Sciences and overwhelming the audience to obtain these initial resources and items for himself. If he was still the same useless Zerg, then the semi-automatic pistol and this defense tower blueprint would give his life a strong layer of protection. At the same time, on a black mountain peak. Boom! A dark rock giant fell to the ground like a burning meteor, creating a large crater. It stood up slowly, reaching a height of 4 meters, its body burning with green flames, exuding a horrifying power. Yoshi, you are so lucky. In your first recruitment, you got the Demon Clan's high-level soldier, Hellfire. Furthermore, my lord's mark is at the legendary level, and the Hellfire I recruited is also a legendary level unit, with a full level 3 combat power. This year, I will definitely compete for the first place in the ranking of new lords and be proud of the Japanese Empire. A Japanese lord who was 1.58 meters tall and had a mustache looked up at the Hellfire in front of him, and the corners of his mouth were raised with joy. He couldn't wait and led Hellfire towards the outside of the territory. Soon, we encountered a group of mountain leopards, about 5 in number. Hellfire, destroy them, the Japanese lord shouted loudly. The green flames in Hellfire's eyes burned even more intensely, rushing forward like a hill. Roar! Destroy everything. It stepped on it with both feet, and in just a moment, it crushed 5 mountain leopards into pieces. Yoshi, you are very powerful. We will rebuild the former glory of the Japanese Empire this year. The Japanese lord's face was stern, with a hint of viciousness in his eyes. In a sand dune, a lord of Asen Kingdom with deep eye sockets and thin lips is recruiting troops. The light faded. From the barracks, a 10-centimeter long green caterpillar crawled out, soft and chewy, full of meaty texture. It does look a bit cute. Caterpillar. Level. LV1. Race. Zerg. Quality. Excellent. Talent. Slowness. Expand. To view talent details. Skill. None. Combat power. Level 0.001. Loyalty. 90. Introduction. Caterpillars feed on all kinds of plants. When in danger, they will disguise themselves as dead leaves. Caterpillar, combat power level 0.001. Damn it, my native race is Zerg. How should I play this? Looking at the harmless caterpillars in front of him, Lord Asen was on the verge of crying, his face full of despair. I thought a miracle would happen. Even the useless Zerg can still emerge as a king. Who would have thought that it would be an illusion after all, after waiting hard? The caterpillar finally arrived. The worst thing is that the Asen government is trying to save resources. There is no care at all for waste races like the Zerg. In other words, this lord of Asen Kingdom does not even have a resource pack. Perhaps the only thing waiting for him next is death. At this moment, in the land of redemption, the new lords of various countries are recruiting soldiers, hunting wild beasts, and increasing their strength, for the fate of the country, and for myself to survive. No one dares to slack off casually. In this process, some people are happy and some are worried. Some lords who were extremely lucky obtained powerful troops during their first recruitment, and easily swept away the wild monsters around their territory. There are also some lords who are extremely unlucky. The soldiers recruited were not even as powerful as the lord himself. Of course, for lords at the epic level and above, the sense of crisis is not that strong, because under the powerful lord's mark, the quality and quantity of soldiers have been greatly improved. There is no problem at all in defeating these beginner monsters. The World Chat channel is becoming more and more popular. Hahaha, I am simply the son of destiny. I have directly recruited high-level human troops. Now I am stable. Baga, my soldier died unexpectedly. Are the wild monsters in the novice stage so powerful? What should I do next? You Japanese people owe too much debt, and now retribution has come. The Great Cold Underworld has a profound heritage and has a history of 5,000 years. The ancestors have blessed us so that the descendants of the Great Cold Underworld can gallop into the land of redemption. The sticks upstairs, can you guys have some faces? The number 1 on the list of new lords last year was us Americans, and it will definitely be the same this year. The great country of the United States, the great country of the fur bears, please show mercy and save our Asen country. This year our dragon kingdom will definitely rise and get back everything we have lost. Su Bai stood in the territory and glanced at the chat among the lords. Immediately, he was ready to go out and take a look at the situation of the 10 springtails. At this time, the system prompt sound suddenly sounded and appeared in front of my eyes. Tip: worker bees collected 200 wood. Congratulations to the Lord, with the enhancement of the prayer effect, the amount of wood obtained has increased by 10 times. Wood plus 2000. I lost it. As predicted, under the influence of the prayer buff, when farmers collect resources, their harvest will be directly doubled by 10 times. It's really cool. Su Bai was in a good mood, with a big smile on his face. Tiny worker bees chop down big trees. After doubling 10 times, how can one say schwang? The other lords must be in dire straits and suffer from a shortage of resources, and if he directly hits 10 times the critical hit, he can enjoy a lot of resources easily. If this progress continues, the speed of territory upgrade will definitely rise as fast as a rocket. I have to say that this feeling of cheating makes people feel a little ecstatic. Cool. Su Bai shouted wildly. Next, check out the resources page. Soul, 50, wood, 3000. We already have 3000 wood, but now we still need 500 stones and 50 souls to upgrade the territory. As he spoke, Su Bai thought and ordered the worker bees to stop cutting wood, start looking for stone mines and collect stones. At this time, there was a ding sound and the system prompt appeared again. Battle tip: your 10 springtails encountered 20 steppenwolves and won a complete victory without any casualties. Weak beast soul. Quantity, 20. Automatic decomposition. Soul plus 20. Congratulations to the Lord, with the enhancement of the prayer effect, the number of souls obtained has increased by 10 times. Soul plus 200. Chapter 10, Sisters, Loyalty Rises. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Damn. Springtails are so powerful. Su Bai looked happy and couldn't help but sigh. Facing steppenwolves that were twice his own number, he was able to eliminate them all without any casualties. The combat power of springtails is really fierce and awesome. Of course, the most enjoyable thing is the blessing of the praying buff, directly increased tenfold, from 20 souls to 200 souls. This is really cool. Now, all that is left to upgrade the territory is stones. With a thought, Su Bai issued orders to the springtails through mental perception transmission. Continue to patrol around the territory. If you encounter low-level beasts, rush forward and kill them. At the other side, Zhao Xiangtian left the territory, led 4 orc infantry, and charged at the 5 wild boars in front of him. For the tribe, the orc infantry roared and raised their battle axes, with fighting spirit in their eyes. The two sides just came into contact. The sharp battle axe struck hard. In the flash of lightning and flint, 5 wild boars were chopped to pieces with bloody flesh. They let out a mournful cry and fell to the ground dead. Weak beast soul. Quantity, 5. Automatic decomposition. Soul plus 5. Is the number of souls only 5? This is too difficult to obtain. Zhao Xiangtian's eyes showed a hint of helplessness. To upgrade your territory, souls are a necessary resource. You have to kill dozens of wild boars to save enough souls for upgrading. If we go at the current pace, it will still take a lot of time. That's all, take your time. Zhao Xiangtian ordered the orc soldiers to continue to stay in the wild, kill wild monsters and collect souls. He plans to return to his territory to recruit farmers and collect resources. Instantly, the entrance to the manor, the light flows. A stocky green orc stepped out. Orcish hard work. Level, LV1. Race, orc. Quality, epic. Talent, collection. Equipment, shovel, iron knife. Skills, logging LV1, mining LV1. Loyalty, 90. Introduction. The lowest status among the orcs is the peons. They know nothing about combat and can only do some logistical support work. Beast laborer. He looks like a working material. Zhao Xiangtian nodded slightly. Immediately afterwards, the system prompt sound appeared again. Congratulations to Lord Zhao Xiangtian. Your newly recruited orc peon has been strengthened at the epic level and his skills have been upgraded to level 20. Oh my god, he's so strong. He's been directly promoted to level 20. Zhao Xiangtian was immediately ecstatic, with a trace of pride in his eyes. As expected of an epic level, it's really powerful. Then, Zhao Xiangtian ordered the orcs to work hard, leave the territory, and go out to search for wood and stones. Half an hour later, tip, the orc peons collected 120 wood. Wood plus 120. I went out for half an hour and only collected 120 points of wood. Zhao Xiangtian was speechless, with a hint of disappointment in his eyes. 120 points of wood are still far short of the 1,000 points required to upgrade the territory. The level 20 logging skill doesn't seem to be as powerful as imagined. The place of salvation is too difficult, that's all. Work harder. If you are short of souls, lead your troops to kill the monsters yourself. If there is a shortage of wood and stones, you can personally take the orc slave laborers to cut down trees and mine. Diligence can make up for weakness, so work hard. Zhao Xiangtian breathed a sigh of relief for himself and became energetic again. Sisters, proceed with caution. This black bear is of a high level. Please pay attention to your safety. Bai Mingyu stood on a big tree with a solemn look in her eyes. As you command, Lord. 6 blood elf archers lurked in a dense forest and whispered. At this time, the system prompt sounded in my mind. Congratulations to Lord Bai Mingyu, the 6 blood elf archers feel your care and their loyalty is plus 10. Immediately, Bai Mingyu looked happy, with a hint of excitement in her eyes. I didn't expect that calling me sister would lead to such unexpected gains. At this moment, a sudden change occurred. Roar! On the ground in the distance, the level 5 mutated black bear roared and pounced in the direction of Bai Mingyu. Protect the Lord! The 6 blood elf archers concentrated their attention, pulled out the elf longbows with their backhands, and jumped onto the tree trunk. The arrow is on the string, and the string is full of moon. Whoosh! 6 blood-red long arrows came out of the string, pointing directly at the black bear. Instantly, 6 long arrows hit the black bear's head accurately. Strong beast soul. Quantity, 1. Automatic decomposition. Soul plus 25. Wow! 25 souls, still kill a high-level monster. The souls come faster. Bai Mingyu's eyes lit up and she sighed repeatedly. At this moment, the system prompt sounded suddenly. Tip, the elf collected 130 wood. Wood plus 130. Not bad, continue collecting resources. Bai Mingyu nodded with satisfaction. Then, she took 6 blood elf archers and continued to hunt wild monsters. At the same time, I silently hope that Su Bai can survive.